Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Lisa Apolinski, content coach and America's digital content futurist, and I am so excited for my guest, who to me is one of the leaders as far as I'm concerned in terms of marketing and strategy, and just all around a fantastic person. She is one of my co-authors in the most amazing marketing book ever, Mary Kathryn Johnson, also called MKJ. MKJ, thank you so much for talking to me. I am so excited.
Oh, Lisa, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored. I hope I could live up to that amazing intro. And really happy to be a co-author with you and be here. Let's chat AI.
Awesome. So before we get started, can you just let the viewers know who you work with and what your area of genius is?
Good question. My area of genius is clarity. My area of genius is listening to what others talk about that they need and want to change, and basically reflecting that back to them as an idea, letting them discover what it is they need to change in their mostly marketing and business. I'm a fractional CMO. I am a conversational designer, and I work with SaaS companies, entrepreneurs who want they need a success optometrist, if you will. Put on the right glasses that give them that clarity and adjust their vision, their sight to immediately see different results.
Oh, fantastic. Love it. So you wrote chapter 32 in our book around AI and content, and that's the topic that we're going to be discussing. So when we were chatting before I hit record, we were talking about common sense content using AI, which I love. It really comes down to common sense. What do you feel is the number one thing that marketers or business owners or anyone who wants to use AI to create content should really be focusing on, that you think should just be a part of their repertoire, something that they do every single time?
Well, number one, the biggest difficulty that most people have, the biggest difficulty I see of most people using AI in content creation is thinking that it's the end all be all of the universe and it's going to solve all their problems, and just hit the button on AI and it's done and go on to the next thing. That's not how it works. No matter what, let's look at it this way. Garbage in, garbage out. So the generative AI engines that we all know and love, ChatGPT, Bard, and the like, they access the internet and they take information from the internet, whatever time frame it is. So we all know there's a lot of garbage on the internet. There's a lot of vanilla content that basically is just trying to, what I deem, social chasing. They're just trying to chase numbers. It's a numbers game. So when you have that kind of content on the internet that is being accessed by generative AI and then creating more content like that, you're just going to get more content like that. So no matter what, common sense says, if you're going to use it to make your content creation faster, which is what it can do, number one, get very good at prompts and figuring out what kind of prompts you need to use. And those prompts need to train the AI about you.
Yes.
And
yes.
Once you do that, then it's going to spit out whatever content you're asking it to spit out. You have to edit. You have to look at that. And from a common sense eye, is this me? Is this just content I want to spit out and more of the vanilla, garbage that the internet has? Or do I want to actually attract people who like what I have to say? And if you're in the latter camp, then you will not be able to just use generative AI and publish it immediately. You must edit. You must make it your own and in your own words.
So talk a little bit about that, because that's something that I talk to my clients about, and they think that when they put something into ChatGPT, it's some kind of thought leadership, but it's really amassing information already there and just regurgitating it to you. Is that correct?
Much of the generative AI is doing exactly that. It's going to look at what's available. It's going to take what you're asking it to do, and it's going to try and add those two things together. What's available plus what you want it to do, and spit out something, quote, new, right?
Right.
We get that. That's the way it is. But no matter what, like ChatGPT, what is it, 2019? It doesn't go beyond 2000, something like that, 2019, 2021, maybe 21. But it can't access anything beyond that. So depending on which one you're using, 3.5, 4, Bard can pretty much take up to date. But that's the only way it can generate new content, is if it combines those two things, what exists and what you ask it to do. And again, I have to propose this concept. The internet was created by what I call, and what Christopher Lochhead and the category pirates, if you know who those guys are, what we call native analogs. Okay, so those are people, analogs like me. I was born in an analog world. I was not born into a digital world. I was born into a world before the internet. And that world is all of human history up until, 1970 when the internet was born, and then 1990 when the World Wide Web was born. And that existed in the style of traditional advertising, traditional sales, where we really just want to beat people over the head with ads and annoy them with content that basically tries to get them to one goal, which is a purchase.
Right.
The native digitals, which are the people who were born in a time of the internet, are now more than 50% of the population of the world. They don't like that kind of conversation. They can smell it a mile away. If you have kids at all that are in this world, mine are 22 and 25, so they're just at the cusp of this, but they were raised by an analog, myself, who made them get outside and made them not have a phone until they were in high school, right? So,
right.
But they still belong to this world, and they still reject that kind of marketing. You should hear my sons joke about it. They make fun of all of these funnels and marketing tactics. They make fun of it. What they want is community with a movement. They want relationships.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at the internet created by native analogs, and you're trying to create content like that just annoys people and tries to get them to buy, you're not prepared for the current reality, which is more than 50% of the population who hates that. You are not setting up your content and your business for the future. So yes, use AI to get an idea and to make your writing faster and your content faster, but you must be common sense focused into the future, not all the filters we use for marketing and content from the past. Keep those native digitals in mind and go to community and your movement, not just selling. Sorry, I was going to curse there. Not just selling stuff.
You can absolutely curse. I have no problem with that.
I'm sorry. That was my rant. I'm done with this marketing that just beats people over the head and shouts at them and annoys them. That's old style marketing this is not digital. This is not the direction of the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And pre-pandemic, you could get away with that. Yeah. I believe it was transactional marketing, right? I give you money, you give me a good or service. And that's our relationship. That's it. It's one time. We're done. It's superficial. Nobody cares. But that's when there was so much market share happening, and all of these companies were popping up and had no problem getting customers because everyone was willing to buy. And now we're in a position where I was listening to NPR yesterday to market share, and they're talking about this. What's happening with the economy, and Are we going to go into a recession? Are we going to have a soft landing? What's happening with this? What's happening with that? And it's global, that no one really knows what the hell is going on. Right. And so they don't know, should they buy? When should they buy? They want to, but they're fearful, and rightly so. So if you're thinking that you can still do this transactional engagement, you're not taking stock of where people are today. They want to feel like they can trust you, that what you do will actually help them get to that success point, and that, you have their best interests in mind. And if you're just like, buy my items, buy, that doesn't feel like you actually really care about me or my struggles. And why would I want to give you my hard-earned money?
That's exactly right. I mean, it goes back to look at the advertising and the marketing for the I Love Lucy show, right? Mm-hmm. She's going to sell, and for those of you who have no clue who I'm talking about, I'm sorry I'm dating myself, but go to, Different Strokes or whatever, any television show in the past will have, at least not streaming like we have now. Look at how that's changed, right? It's right. Streaming is completely different from the old-fashioned television shows, but the algorithms are still built by those native analogs. The algorithms are still they're not trying to give you or allow you to control the adventure with their streaming. That you all of a sudden you go and say, I want to watch a horror film, right? It's coming up to Halloween, and you want to watch a horror film. Well, now all of a sudden Netflix is going to show you only horror films, right? It doesn't allow you to put in your changing parameters. Your tastes change constantly. When you're faced with new information. But getting back to the I Love Lucy show, right? This was influencer marketing, and we think this is a new thing. It's not. She would stand up there in a commercial with her wonderful little Camel cigarettes and go, I would love Camel cigarettes, or some cleaning product. Or she was an influencer in that audience. Well, now imagine that was not the entire globe that saw that. That was just the United States. Now we have that same kind of marketing on a global scale. So those numbers, and now we have anyone able to do it, not only the people who could pay for I Love Lucy to do it. We have, and that's why these new native digitals are so tired of this, because they are bombarded. When you talk about scale, they are bombarded at scale every day, all day, and they're done. There was a YouTuber, one of the gals that I friends with, her son has a YouTube channel, pretty popular YouTube channel, and she's of course a wonderful person like me, analog, like you need an email, you need to collect email addresses and get an email list, and he's like, Mom, why do I need to do that? She's like, well, what if they shut down YouTube? And he's like, well, first off, they're not going to shut down YouTube anyway, but secondly, even if they do, I'll just go connect with my friends on Discord, because we have a community. We're not dependent on YouTube. Yeah, I'm dependent on it for my advertising revenue, right, and my monetization. But I'll just go start on another platform because I got all my peeps on Discord.
Right.
They don't need this whole marketing tactic stuff that we use. They have community. So if you don't take your content, getting back to content, I'm sorry I'm long-winded, but I just cannot stand this anymore, right? If you don't take your content and gear it toward building a community that supports a movement, then you're lost. You're already in the past. It's just waiting to catch up to you.
Right, absolutely. And it's interesting. So I had a client call earlier today, and one of the concerns that the president of the company was saying is, well, if I'm sharing this thought leadership content, couldn't people like steal my ideas or, and it's like, I live in the world of multiple right answers, and sure, that could absolutely be a possibility. But I think when you lead and you share value, most people, we have a book that tells you how to do all this stuff. And people are like, couldn't you just do it for me? That's how most people are. They want to know that you know what you're talking about, but at the end of the day, if they want to do it themselves, let them do it themselves. It's not a big deal. Why decide their journey for them? But I would say 80 to 90% of your community is going to go, I'd rather just throw money at you and you make the problem go away, or you help me make the problem go away.
Yes. And that's really the crux of community. Really, you and I both belong to a very strong community from that book. And that book is the first community-driven authorship, right? So that community is Mark Schaefer. And in that community, Mark doesn't necessarily lead all the discussions. The discussions are led by the community. He gave carte blanche to the community within, obviously, the rules of normal human conversation, no racist comments, no, all the things that follow the rules and protected classes and all that. We all know that already. We've lived in that world. We would not be stupid enough to do that. Right. So in that, we all lead the conversation in our own disciplines and our own ideas. We share that leadership. But going back to your point with the client who was like, well, won't somebody steal this? I'm sorry to let you know that when you post something on social media, that is not copyright protected, right? I mean, that's not like you post a comment on social media. You're not going to claim copyright infringement if someone shares that comment or then expands upon it. We have reached a world that is beyond that, and that is the most, that goes back to the whole idea of we used to call it scarcity mindset and abundance mindset, right? That's the whole idea of there's a pie and it's only this big and I want the biggest piece of it that I can get. Well, if you know anything about cloud-based storage or the internet, you know that there is no finite piece of pie. The internet is like the universe. It expands completely every single minute. There's more information, more shared content. You can't have that scarcity mindset anymore and exist in this native digital world. So yes, if you're going to write a book and you're going to claim the authorship of that book, you created it. You didn't go create it with AI. Here again, we're coming back to common sense. If you create a book with AI, you cannot, I don't think, in all good conscience, claim that as copyright protected because you had AI go out and create that content for you with the existing copyright protected content. So come on, think about it. Think about the common sense of that. But if you, in your own words, write, and here's where we're getting into the gray area of legal protection of content, right? Right. So that's another conversation completely, but let's just stay with common sense. If we're decent human beings, we're not going to go try and steal content from someone else and claim it as our own. We already know that's not good, and we're not a bad person, so we're not going to do that. So let's have that as our baseline, right? And if that's the case, and we write a piece of content that we are going to claim as our own and publish in the normal publishing process and say, this is mine, I'm copyright protecting it, then of course no one's going to steal it because it's your content and you would be able to know if they stole it. So in that sense, your client, we're in a different world. If you're going to create that content and copyright protect it, you are protected. If you're just going to share your ideas, then share your ideas freely and help educate people and rise up everyone. Don't keep it behind every single thing you want to say behind a paywall so nobody can steal it. You're already done. Again, I'm already telling you, it's just going to catch up to you.
And I have the same feeling when you put a wall with your content and require someone to sign up for the newsletter or, give their email address. If it's good enough and it's going to help your community and your future clients and you truly stand for their success, then you should be able to hand it to them and be relentlessly helpful. And if you don't want to do that, then I question whether you actually want to do thought leadership and authority power, or you're trying to just get as much money as you can.
Yeah. And that's always a step.
Transactional. Yeah.
Right. But that's always a stepwise process, right? There are always going to be, and here's where the funnel idea came in, but it's the opposite of that as far as I'm concerned. It's actually a mountain, and we're trying to help people get to the top of the mountain, and the mountain keeps growing. So, hey, we never get to the top. So, but that's
Exactly.
really the way it is. The bottom of the mountain is all of our free content. And just like the community you and I belong to, with Mark Schaefer, the Rise community, all that content on that Discord server is free until you decide you want to become a VIP member. And you say, you know what? I love all this content. I want to contribute even more and hear more from other thought leaders that I'm not getting in just the free content that might cost, because some of these people that Mark brings into that community cost probably. They probably charge for their time. So we want to be a part of that. That's a whole VIP membership. So there's where we're moving up the ladder, right? Now we get to the next phase of the ladder when, hey, Mark says we want to write a book. Well, that's the next phase of the ladder. And we're all climbing that mountain together. And that mountain keeps growing because we all contribute to it. There again, we never reach the top because there is no top. It just continues growing, continues developing. And that I would rather look at it that way rather than a funnel so that everybody gets to the bottom. Right? I mean, there's a very big difference between getting to the bottom and buying and getting to the top and gaining clarity and gaining wisdom and gaining, ideas and growth of our mindset. I mean, it's just the opposite. It's actually inverted. They're inverse relationships to each other. And that's where the native digitals are going. And yeah, you can get there. You can build that. But you have to be true. So getting back to your content idea, you have to be true to yourself. And AI can't write you. AI does not have access to your lived experience. It does not have access to that. It only has access to what's on the internet and what you train it if you're using a true training model type of AI. But it does not have access to all of your thoughts and experiences from your lived life. So you have to put that into it. You have to put your passions. You have to put your ideas, your movement that you want to create in this world. And if you're not there and that's not what you want to do with your content, and you just want to sell stuff, then go ahead, use AI, just create all the content you want and try and sell stuff. But I'll tell you, you are already left behind because this shift has already happened.
It's already begun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a difference between whether or not your content is informational, which you can absolutely take anything that AI spits out and just send it out into the universe, or if it's inspirational, where you take that small extra step, and it's not a lot of time. That's what kills me. It's not a lot of time to take what AI has written, look at it, and modify it so that it's your personal brand DNA, that you're connecting dots into the future, that you're adding something new to what is there. And that, to me, is where you bring together community, because now they're coming together around a purpose, and they're actually having a conversation around it, around the content that you created. If you're just doing AI to just regurgitate a bunch of stuff, then there's no extra value. So why would anyone have a conversation around it?
That's right. There's two types of content that I create, and that's it. One is thought-provoking. Okay. I'm going to put, and usually, my name's Mary, so I used to get the whole concept when I was in school. Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Right? Well, I am quite contrary. I'm just going to tell you right now. I am a contrarian. And that's one of the thought-provoking types of content that I create. I'm going to be contrary to if you don't know this by now in this conversation, I'm going to beat you over the head with it again. But I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to add something beyond what is currently understood. And so that's thought-provoking. All right. I do it in a little cheeky manner, right? So that's thought-provoking. The other kind of content is use case or useful content. So there's two types of content, and you can have AI help you write both. But the thought-provoking has to come from you. It has to have a personality. It's my Mary, quite contrary, right? It's the way I speak. And you have to add that, even if you have AI help you write it. So there's thought-provoking, and then you have useful. So that's where you actually look at, like we're talking today, we're talking both. We're talking about thought-provoking, but then we can also look at, all right, you're going to put a piece of content or you're going to ask AI to write this content, and you're going to ask it for useful, how to, right? How to do X, Y, Z. That's a useful piece of content. Someone can take that, absorb it, and go follow it. right, in their own way. Thought-provoking is it makes them think. They have to actually use brain cells to think about how they feel about this. And they can say, I don't like this, I do like this, whatever. But it's not just how to do something. The majority of the internet is how to. It's just how to write a blog post, how to do this. And you can definitely use AI to create those, but you still want to add from your thought-provoking. That leads you to the useful, the actual useful. And you still need to add your spin to that. It's not just a, robotic how-to piece of content. You still need to be you. I call it, and I work for a company as a marketing director, we call it be relatable. You need to be relatable to people, not just regurgitate or be again, social chasing all those likes and hand claps and hearts and all those things. That's all the majority of the content online is, chasing those algorithms. But be relatable. And I'll tell you, it's a beautiful thing. It's like a sigh of relief that you don't have to be chasing these constantly changing algorithms.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have no idea what is happening behind the scenes. And if you're worrying about certain types of measurements when you're doing your content, and you're just looking for likes or things like that, I mean, that's great, but what does that mean to you and your business? What does that mean to you and your authority power? What does that mean to you and your community?
Yeah. And I can show, so let me just talk real quickly about a way that you can use AI and you can use some other tools online that will help you do both. Because I'm not negating the fact that we don't have to live in this internet age, right? We don't have to live with this native analog type of conversation. So we're still going to need to be seen on social media. We still need to use social media and the internet to get leads. We still need to play in that sandbox. Okay? Or fish in those fishing holes, however you want to look at. If my people are on Facebook, I got to fish in the Facebook fishing hole, right? And I got to fish for leads. So I'm going to have to use some hooks that Facebook people typically respond to. But the content itself, so here's an article I just wrote, a Substack article I just wrote about a guru who put her stuff out on Facebook and was so excited and proud that she in 15 minutes created a lead magnet and a landing page and an email series, 15 minutes using AI. Awesome. She published that lead magnet and it was a new brand. There's no face associated with this brand. No person, right? So is there a relationship? You can't have a relationship with a brand with no face, right? There's no person behind it. It's just a brand. So that's cool. The old style of doing things. Awesome. You're just going to sell me stuff. She got her lead magnet. She got her landing page. She got her email list. Everything's great. She publishes it. Within a week, she's got 30 or 3,000 or more, a little plus or minus 3,000 subscribers. And she's like, yeah, look at that in a week and 15 minutes of work and blah, blah. Okay. There's no relationship there. You're just trying to sell stuff. And that's going to last for as long as you can keep being faceless to faceless email addresses.
Right.
Because that's all you're getting. A faceless brand gets faceless email addresses. Great. That's not being relatable. That's not building relationships. That's not building community. And that's going to be very short-lived. You're going to have to do another brand, another faceless, you're going to keep fishing for faceless emails.
Right.
So instead, you can fish in that fishing hole by being real, creating thought-provoking content, and you can use, so I used a tool that I use called the Advanced Marketing Institute Headline Generator, or Headline Analyzer. So I'll take my headline for my piece of content, and my piece of content was how to annoy people with marketing, how to be successful at annoying people with marketing.
Yep.
Okay, to me, that's what that is. It's just annoying people. And so I put that headline in the Advanced Marketing Institute Headline Analyzer, and I get an analysis of how good my marketing headline is. And 30 to 40% is typically what a standard marketing person would get. Good marketing, right? If you're below 30% in this analyzer, you need to step it up a bit and make it more, piffy or whatever you're going to do. This one was 69%. Awesome. I'm good. Let's use that one. But I'm still, from that's going to get the hook. But from that, my content has to be good. My content has to be true to me. My content actually has to mean something. Otherwise, it's just vanilla. They're just going to go past it. No big deal. They're not going to subscribe. They're not going to follow me. They're not going to go to my community. They're not going to do whatever. That's how you can use AI and still be thought-provoking. So now I can take and put a useful piece of content from that same concept, and I can say how to not annoy people and how to be relatable instead. And I can actually go step by step. Here's the way to use AI to get a basic piece of content, and now here's to make that piece of content relatable.
Right.
You can do both of those things, and you can use AI to start that process and then personalize it after that.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the fact that you talked about prompting. I know a lot of people struggle with AI and their content because their prompts are so general or generic.
Yes.
You need to get down to, if you're looking for taglines, specify the number of words, specify how many you want to see, specify the tone, specify the audience, get really granular. And if you're not able to do that, then you need to step back and go, okay, wait a minute. Who's my audience and what are their issues? And what am I hoping that this content is actually going to solve for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's, yes. So there's three. If you don't know those things, if you don't know who you're speaking to, why they should care, right? And what's important to you that is also important to them that can solve their problems. If you don't know those things, you don't have a brand. You don't have a marketing strategy. You don't even have a business if you don't even know those things. You must.
And you know how many
focus.
people that I've talked to over the years who have started a business and they're struggling to get in clients. And then I ask them, what do you do? And they tell me, and I go, okay, how is that different from every other person in the space that you compete in? And they were like,
So yeah, that's getting back.
Like,
yes.
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 Killing me, Smalls. It's like, what are you doing?
Yes, you're speaking to, yes, I'm so glad we are talking and we are on the same page, because that's not different. That's just we call it better, faster, cheaper, whatever. They're all the You can add any to it. But you're basically, especially if you're looking to try and get on page 1 of Google, think about what happens if you're trying to follow the SEO algorithm to get you on page 1 of Google. You know what that does? Especially if you pay ads to do it. You've just paid for the privilege to be compared to 9 of your other competitors.
Right. That's so true. My God, I didn't think of it in that terms. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's all you're doing.
Here's me and here's all my other competitors.
Here's everybody else. And so I'm just basically paying for the privilege to be compared to my next 9 competitors. Awesome. Yeah. Go for it. You need to be different, not just So different means, look at the language I'm using. So for this company that I'm helping promote, this Be Relatable thing, I have to look at different language. I've already introduced it. And this is language not just because I'm working for this company. I believe this language. I'm not going to social chase anymore. I'm not going to chase the algorithms. I call them algorithm zombies. There's no life. There's just like the algorithm changed. Oh, we got to go over here now.
Brains. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Oh, pages are it now. Okay, I got to go to pages. Groups. Oh, I got to go to groups. Right. That's what it is. It's zombies. It's algorithm zombies. Okay. Look at my language. Now I have something for people to be community with me, and we can identify, I don't want to be a social chaser. I don't want to be an algorithm zombie. So let's take a coach. Okay. Let's just take a coach and think, okay, how can a coach be different? Not just Okay. So let's say I'm a fitness coach. All right. And I'm probably doing most of the things that other fitness coaches do. I'm going to help you with your diet. I'm going to help you with your exercise. I'm going to do an analysis of you. I might even send you, I knew one nutrition type coach who sent you to a functional medicine person to get your blood work done. I mean, I might have all these features for my services, right? But what really makes me different? So let's say I'm a mom. And I have moms who have kids that are, junior high or middle school age and younger.
Right.
Well, I'm going to speak the language to those moms, not just the social chasing language, not just do you want to get your body back, pre-baby body back? And are the kids finally in school? And I mean, these are all standard things that people say. I'm going to bring my stuff in, and I'm going to say, let's say it's actually me, although I'm not anywhere near a fitness coach. I have a degree in nutrition, but that was baloney because it was way back in the 90s and it said fat was bad and sugar was good. Right. Okay. So anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's say it's me. I'm going to bring in my personal experience. I'm going to say, would you like to know, I'm going to actually go, if you're struggling and your kids are in school and you're still struggling to get your body back, to feel healthy again, to get the energy you like, I get it. Here's how I did it after I broke both my legs when I was 8 months pregnant and had to then figure out how to do my fitness again. That's going to show you who I am. That's going to be vulnerable about who I am because that actually happened to me. I was 8 months pregnant with my second son and I fell and broke both my legs. So I had to deliver the baby. I had to go through labor, delivery, caring for the newborn with casts on both legs up to the knee. I'm going to talk about how I did that and how I, after that, strengthened my legs back and was able to do squats again and still had the baby on me and all that. That's going to get attention to me and people who are going to tell me their stories. Oh, yeah, I went through preeclampsia, or I went through this, postpartum depression, or, I'm going to talk about those things and say, yeah, we can take care of ourselves, be fit, be strong, even with those experiences. Let's do it together. That's different. That's not just do this exercise, be this Pilates, eat this high protein. No, those are features. Those are things we can do together to actually get in shape. But we have to bring our own experiences, our own personalities, and create a community with each other. That's how you be different as a fitness coach, not just
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. MKJ, thank you so much for this conversation. This was awesome. I am so excited. Again, there's so many things that people still stick to that they know don't really work. And for whatever reason, they have a story attached to it or whatever, and they don't want to let go of some of these things and try something new. And to me, marketing is great because you can have a bunch of fails and keep going. And using AI is something that you just have to kind of play with. But again, think about what you want that content to do and how you want your community to be able to engage with it and each other, because that's really what it's supposed to be about. The content is really supposed to be a catalyst for the conversation, not just look at me and how great I am and all the crap I'm selling. Because that's a sea of sameness, and all your competitors are doing that. And if you want to commit to, fighting over that small piece of pie instead of moving over here, good luck. But I'd rather be completely separate and have a very different conversation with my clients or my customers.
Yes, Lisa. And I'll tell you, to anyone who might hear our voices, if you need this is for you. I give you permission to get off the hamster wheel that the native analogs have taught you or have told you this is what you need to do. I give you permission to get off of that, to take a deep breath and get back in touch with who you are. And then use AI as the starting point, and then add your own common sense, your own story, your own unique spin to be different, not and actually allow yourself to create that content faster and easier, if that's really what AI is, any of them, they're pretty much the same, to actually be different and to join us. I give you permission to get off that wheel and take a deep breath and join us in the future because it's already here.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
KJ. This was fantastic. And thank you all for watching. And remember, there has never been a better opportunity for you to make your digital mark. I'm Lisa Apolinski. Thank you so much for joining us.